Welcome to On the Sidelines, the show that discusses sports and how sports intersects our lives. I'm your host, Paul McGrath, and I'm glad that you can join us for this show. Many of us have played sports while growing up. We were going to be the next superstar in baseball, basketball, or whatever sport we were playing. But no matter the organized sport, there were always officials to oversee the rules. But who ever thought of being an official? Well, I never did. Now On the Sidelines is proud to have an official, more specifically, an umpire, join us. Not just any umpire, but one who has umpired in the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Ricci Hall, welcome to On the Sidelines.
Thanks, Paul. Pleasure to be here with you.
Well, glad to have you here. Like I said, when I was a kid, being an umpire, I never came into my thoughts.
Sure.
Never did anyway. So when did it come into your being where you? How did that develop?
Yeah, so I was pretty young when that happened.
Yeah.
I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school, and I grew up in Oxford, and Steve Palermo came from Oxford, and so I knew of him, and he was kind of a hero of mine, watching him umpire in the American League. So I had an interest in officiating from an early age. And then I was at one of my brother's Little League games at the age of 14, and someone didn't show up to umpire the game. So they asked if anybody was willing to do it. So I jumped out there, and here it is more than 30 years later, still doing it.
So you kind of knew baseball rules, I assume.
I did.
They
yeah.
kind of knew you.
They knew me, and I had
Yeah.
played baseball, and so I kind of knew the way the rules worked a little bit.
Right.
But since then, of course, I've learned a lot more about the nuances of those rules than I appreciated fully when I was 14. But I went out there and did my best, and apparently was reasonably good at it. They asked me to come back.
Yeah. Now, were you paid? Were Little League umpires paid back then? Not that you were looking for $1, I'm sure.
No. But when I was in high school, they did pay us a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I think it was $8 to do the game or something like that, which for a 14-year-old back then wasn't bad money. Yeah. And then as I got older and realized that it was more of an avocation, I worked for gratis and didn't take pay. But for some kids in high school, it's not a bad little way to make some extra pocket cash.
So you started when you were in high school. Now, did you continue, or were there lapses because of, life gets in the way, like work? And how did you progress to Little League World Series?
Yeah, I managed to keep it going even during all the transitions in my life. I like to say one of the interesting things is the people that I have in my life from my Little League days are some of the ones that have been in my life the longest, since I never really left, even from the age of 14. Even while in high school, I went to college here locally and continued to umpire, spent some time umpiring also at the high school level for a few years, and just remained consistently in Little League umpiring all the way through my life without really any substantial break. It's one of the few things in my life for that long that I still have in my life for that long.
So when do you think you looked at the rule book? I mean, to really get, because there are some rules that every once in a while, I never heard of that rule.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was pretty early on.
Did they ever make you look at a rule book or any of the
They did.
levels you were at?
I had an interest in it anyway, in the sense that if a play happened during the game that I didn't know the rule to, I would go home and look it up, right? And then try to figure out did I make a mistake or not? And I spent a lot of time looking at the rule book and trying to figure out, the nuances to it. Yeah. And I will say, to be a student of the rules of baseball requires a great deal of consistent study. I mean, there are the rules, there's a lot of interpretations that go with it. So even after 30-some years, every time I put my nose back in the rule book, I still learn something new all the time. Yeah.
So the progression, you were doing Little League. How did you progress? I guess the Little League, we have districts here in Massachusetts. So how does that work?
So leagues are organized within districts.
Right.
There are 14 districts in Massachusetts, and then those districts are organized within sections within the state, and there's the state. And so I started off as a league umpire in Oxford, and then with time I went down to the Little League Umpire Academy down in Williamsport in 1993. And took their week-long class.
Now, was that in conjunction with the World Series? Did they have that sometime else during?
They had that during other times during the year.
Other times,
so
things going on, I suppose.
Yeah. During the series, there's so much going on. But I was down there for a week in after the World Series in late August. Yeah. and had a chance to take the class down there. And as I worked towards improving myself at the local league level, someone said, "Hey, you might be good at doing some district level games."
Yeah.
And so I started doing some district level games, and then suddenly it was, well, maybe we can have you work in some state championships. It seems like you're really good at this, and so I went and did some state championships, and you sort of work your way up through the different levels until you finally get yourself to a point where your quality is good enough that you're ready to umpire at the highest level of the sport.
So you're known at the district level. I mean, people get to know you after a while, but
Right.
there has to be more Little League umpires in the world, to me, on recreational than any other sport.
Yeah.
So how do we get to Williamsport? I mean, they kind of know you here, but there's a bunch of districts throughout the country.
Yeah.
So how does one like Ricci Hall
Yeah.
get to Williamsport?
So that's a great question, Paul. I mean, part of it has to do with the fact that you have to work your way up and do some of the regional tournaments, which are pretty high profile, and people get to know you watching you do those regional tournaments. There are over 25,000 umpires in what's called the Little League Umpire Registry, which is the registry, but there's probably at least 3 or 4 times that in terms of the number of umpires who are actually doing games.
Yeah, many aren't registered, I'm sure.
Correct. They're working in their local leagues.
So there's 25,000 registered.
Registered umpires in Little League International. That's correct. Yep. Yeah. And so, as you work your way up and progress during these tournaments, for example, when you get to the East Region tournament, which is in Bristol, Connecticut, that's when the decision makers are watching these games.
I was going to say, they can't be scouts all over the world, but so that's where they start.
That's where they start, and they're watching you work some pretty substantial games. Remember, at the East Region, every single state champion from the New England and Mid-Atlantic region and the Metro region show up there. So we're talking about New York, the state of New York's best Little League team, the state of New Jersey's best Little League team are playing in these East Region tournaments. So our umpires who are there are working games with really high quality teams and players. And that's where we watch our umpires to see, do they have the special stuff they're going to need to be able to work in Williamsport, because that's the next step.
Well, the pressure, I suppose, builds a little bit more. It's not your local little game.
Well, that's true. And also, when I did it for the first time in 2004, only the championship game of that region was on television. Now, almost all of those regional games are televised in one manner, shape, or form on the ESPN platforms.
So you go down there, they're going to throw you with 3, are there 4 umpires now?
4 umpires,
in the series.
Yep.
They're going to throw you with a team. How do they decide you're behind home plate today? And I mean, here's your first game down there.
Yeah.
You don't know, I suppose, where you're going to umpire, but they must somehow assign you.
So a lot goes into it, believe it or not. We get notified sometime in February that we've been chosen for the World Series ahead of the August. So we have several months of preparation. It also includes a trip to Williamsport in May for what's called an orientation. So all the 20 umpires who have been chosen to work in the 2025 World Series show up in May to Williamsport to do special orientation and training. And there you meet your crewmates, and you meet, in this case, I was a crew chief, so we get to meet the team that's going to work under my charge as the crew chief.
And you stay together.
And we stay together.
It's like
the pros
big leagues.
do.
You stay together.
They break up a little bit towards the end of the tournament. For the most part, though, we stay within a crew and a crew chief. And at that point, the director of umpiring decides what the rotation is going to be. And generally what happens the last couple of years is the umpire, the chief, crew chief, starts out at the plate. And then they rotate clockwise. So I did a plate game, and then I'll go to third, and then I'll go to second. Then
just
go
like
to
the majors.
Just like the majors.
Just like the majors, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is 2025. You're at the World Series.
Correct.
But it's not your first one, huh?
No, I've done 4 of them.
4?
Yeah, four Little League World Series. I did my first one in 2017.
Yeah.
And then in 2021, during COVID, they called back 12 umpires who had worked already to come back and do it a second time. And if you remember that year, there were fewer teams. There were no international teams because of the pandemic. So I went back in 2021. And then in 2024, my phone rang, and they asked me to come back as a crew chief in 24 and 25. So it's an honor to go once, Paul. It's unheard of to have the option and the opportunity to go 4 times.
I have here, I printed off there's 20 umpires for the World Series. And you look, there was one fellow from France.
Yeah.
and he had only started umpiring 10 years ago. There's another fellow from Latin America, a fellow from Australia. I mean, so they really do have an international flavor.
It does. As does the tournament, as you know,
Yeah.
an entire international bracket of teams, which
Yeah.
makes it a true, genuine World Series in that sense. In our umpires too. So we had umpires from Australia, from France, from Puerto Rico, and Canada. So it's an international flair that happens as well with the umpire crew.
Now, this year's crew that you had, did you know any of those umpires from before? Or
I did.
You did.
I did,
So
yeah.
you're a little bit familiar with each other.
It's a small
Community.
of folks who umpire at this level anyway.
Well, plus it takes time. I mean, you're taking time off.
It's a huge commitment.
Right. Yeah.
I had 40-some meetings and orientation, and all in preparation for our 2 weeks in Williamsport. So it's a huge preparation to be ready. It's only fair though that we choose the best umpires and prepare them. These are the best 20 teams in the world. Yeah. These are amazing athletes at 12 years old in the largest youth sporting event in the world. And so they want to make sure that the umpires are quality because the kids deserve it.
Okay. So how do they decide when you start? Of course, there's all the teams are there, but then boom, 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 it gets narrowed down.
Yeah.
So do you get narrowed down? How
do.
You do, right?
Yeah, they evaluate us. They evaluate us, Paul, and so they're watching our performance on the field, including the crew chiefs, and just like at the major league level, they try to find the very best crew that they can for that final championship game. Yeah. And I was honored to be the crew chief and be at first base for that World Championship game this year.
With Taipei? When
that's
they
right.
won? Yeah.
Taipei versus Nevada. Yep. Yeah. Very.
Now, you're the umpire. When you're playing Taipei, I guess sometimes you do the international games. Is there a language barrier when you have to talk to the manager? I mean, how does that work?
So each team that needs one has an interpreter that the league provides.
The team.
That's right. Yep. So anytime I need to converse with the manager of that team, the interpreter is present. So we often. This year I had to explain the infield fly rule to the Chinese Taipei manager on a call that we made, and so I had to use the interpreter to help me with that, which is not always easy trying to explain like baseball language through an interpreter.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Did he finally get it, you think? Or?
He did. I don't think he liked it, but but he got it.
I guess it went against him, huh?
It did.
Well, let's look at a couple of pictures here that you're kind enough. There we go.
Yeah, so that's at the that happens to be at Volunteer Stadium there, and I'm doing the plate there. I'm coming back to ask for some more baseball. So this is in between innings, and
I thought you were asking for a couple of beers.
Yeah, that's the running joke.
I see.
And at that point I could have used them probably. But yeah, no, I'm asking for 2 baseballs there to refill ahead of the next inning.
So how many baseballs do you have normally?
So we'll wear 2 ball bags, and typically I'll have 4 in one and 3 in the other, and 1 in play.
Oh, so you got enough.
Yeah.
And there's another one, the same thing. I guess
Same thing.
You're doing it all the time.
Yeah. This one here on the bases, we indicate when there are 2 pitches left prior to the catcher throwing the ball down.
Oh.
This is important in part because we have the timing with the television. So ESPN goes to commercial.
Oh, you got to get involved in that. Oh, geez.
So it's on the umpires to make sure that we don't start the game until the commercials are done and we're back to ESPN. So that's another part of doing it. That doesn't happen in local league. I don't have to worry about ESPN coming back.
Now, do you have an earpiece, or how do you control? Is somebody pointing to you?
Somebody's pointing.
Somebody's pointing.
Yeah, they call them the red hat.
Yeah.
So there's a person down underneath the well that is in charge, listens to ESPN, and knows when it's time to come back from commercial, and they'll tell us, okay, 2 pitches left, throw the next one down.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I know the Bruins have a red light.
Yes.
And then the guy points, but there's no red light for you guys, I guess, huh?
And in fact, in some of the other pictures you can see, like that one there, my job here as the first base umpire is to actually wait for the red. You can see here I'm looking at the red hat, waiting for the signal to release the defensive team to come out to start their infield. So when the inning ends and everyone in the world goes to commercial, the players are in the dugout waiting for me to say it's okay to go out. Yeah, so it's all very orchestrated.
And does this start at the regional level too?
Yes.
So anything on TV, whoever, I don't know if it's ESPN or whoever we watched it.
Yep, it's all orchestrated in this way to orchestrate the generally 2 minutes of commercial time.
It's all commercial time, yeah.
Yeah, it's very orchestrated. Yeah.
Now let's talk about I guess this is your team. I
That's
don't know
my
which-
that's my championship crew there.
That's the
Paul.
team.
That's the team that worked the championship game. That's Dwight Stevens, who had the honor of working the plate. He's from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Carlos is our umpire from Puerto Rico, and he had second base.
Yeah.
Mike Orlando's from Peabody, Mass. So
Now, which one is he?
He's the one on the far left.
The far left.
Yeah, so Dwight's got the plate, and then
Yeah.
Carlos is next to him at second, and Mike is
he's a good
third
size
base
guy,
umpire.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm the crew chief at first base, so that's our championship crew right there. Pretty proud to be assigned that assignment.
Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So that was before the game, I guess.
Right before
But
the game.
You guys were together the whole.
No, that crew's a little mixed up.
Oh, is it?
For the championship game, they mixed us
I
up a
won't
little bit.
comment on that, yeah.
And that's really interesting, Paul, too, because we're underneath the stadium here at Lomedy. So
Yeah.
this is where the field itself would be off to my left in this picture, and we're underneath the sort of the bowels of the stadium, if you will, and then we'll walk right out onto the field to take the field there. And when we do that, there's about 30,000 people at that stadium for the championship game. That hill is full.
Oh yeah, the hill. I love the hill. Yeah.
Yeah, just amazing to have 30,000 fans at that championship game.
What else we got here? We have another one there, Aiden. Oh,
The headset.
The headset. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that, Paul,
Because we don't do this in Westboro.
We don't do this in Westboro. We certainly don't. This is a video replay challenge.
Yeah.
And so during the
Oh, they
play
have
here,
the challenge.
we have a replay challenge. Yeah. So in this case, we had a close play, and I believe this is a call at home plate. So you can see that the plate umpire is there. His name's Phil Levike, and he is from New Hampshire. And then the crew chief, which I am here, always goes to the headset. So the crew chief
you
is
go
the
with
one.
him. Yeah,
I go with
yeah.
him. And I'm communicating with two fellow Little League umpires who are in they're in a control room looking at the call.
Now
And
they're in that
they're
control room is in
Williamsport.
Williamsport.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm talking to them about the call, and they're reviewing it, and then they give us the outcome.
So in Little League ball, how many challenges are you allowed?
2 unsuccessful challenges, which means so as long as you continue to be successful,
Yeah.
you get to maintain those 2. Once you're wrong for a second time, you can't have another challenge.
That's it. Well, I'm glad that they go up. I know in my life I'm an auditor, and I used to look in hockey. They'd have a little tablet like this, and they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And my saying was, well, you can't audit your own work. Because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
kind of like, I don't want to say I was wrong. To me, it should always go up somewhere independent,
Yeah.
look at it, and
that's
baseball does that.
That's exactly what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had an on the field call, and we're waiting for confirmation either that it's confirmed that we got it right or that it's overturned.
Okay, now let me ask you this one. It's my own opinion. They show replays. Okay, now of course everyone's betting and we got to get it right, But they slow it down to the millisecond and to see if the guy's toe is on the base or whatever. My opinion, and I'll get yours, is the replay should be done in real time because you guys are looking at it in real time. When they slow it down to that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if they slow it down for in
do.
Little League or
They do.
But how much you're going to slow it? I mean, that's my opinion, and you can talk about this forever, I guess.
Yeah, it's a philosophical question. I had a chance to work in replay as well in 2023, so at Williamsport.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, in 23, I was in the replay room. We do slow the plays down to try to get them right. But I will say that Little League, I think, has a great way of doing it. Here's what they basically say. The only time we're going to overturn a call is if there's clear video evidence. So if I have to slow it down and rock it back multiple times, then the call in the field should probably stand.
Right, yeah.
And that's the philosophy. That's the guiding philosophy that we use. Replay is meant to overturn outrageously wrong calls, right? Ones that we missed and blow, which happens to everybody. Ones that are clear that we got wrong, we want to right those.
Yeah.
If you have to get to the point where you're really splitting hairs, it's probably just let the call stand.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the angle too. In spite of
absolutely.
everything, I get blocked out, or
Absolutely.
those things happen.
Yeah,
We all make errors.
And sometimes they're razor thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the one Jim Joyce on the no hitter, they were Detroit. They didn't have replay back in those days. It's unfortunate that
And
that
that would have
happened.
been one to overturn.
That would have been one. That was just a tough
And
one.
interestingly enough, Jim Joyce would likely say that he would have preferred to have replay and to overturn it too. None of us want to get these calls wrong, right? None of us go to games hoping to be wrong about these calls. So as much as replay can be challenging for us, it actually gives us a little bit of comfort because I never want to cost the team by a mistake that I made, an obvious mistake that I made. And by the way, as it turns out, I think the number is somewhere in the low 90% of calls that are upheld at the Little League World Series, meaning 9 out of 10, the umpire gets right.
Right. Well, it's like, I don't know if you have it in the Little League, but you watch a baseball game and they have the box.
Yeah, we don't have that thing.
You don't have that, but I am amazed at the number they get right. I mean, and I don't know if I had it on my computer. Somewhere there was an AI that you were the umpire of a major league pitcher, and you were behind the catcher, and I don't know how many I got wrong. I mean, that ball, even in Little League, that ball's coming in pretty fast. I don't know speed-wise what it is in Little League.
Well, it sure is. So at 46 feet, we had pitchers in this tournament throwing in the low 80s, which equates to a reaction time of over 105 miles per hour, 107
It equates to that.
Yeah. So the reaction time is really, really fast. The ball's on top of you really quickly.
Yeah. So you've got to make that call
right away. Yeah.
And do you miss one? Yeah, you're going to miss one.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think the vast majority of umpires get, again, even at the pro level, but even at the Little League level, we're talking about 94, 95% of the ball strikes are correctly adjudicated. I'm not sure you can get much better than that.
Well, it's like what you're saying then is the Little League pitchers are basically throwing equivalent to Randy Johnson or
at the Williamsport.
At Williamsport.
At Williamsport, they certainly
not here
are.
maybe, but at there. And
in 2021, Paul, I had Gavin Weir, and I don't know if you remember that name. He was from South Dakota. He was a left-handed pitcher, and I had his no-hitter behind the plate. So he threw a no-hitter at the World Series, and I happened to be behind the plate. Lefty with a real sharp slider and a great fastball. And just no-hit the team from California. A remarkable performance. Yeah. And so we see that level of athlete at this series.
Okay, let's go to another one here, Aiden, if we can. Let's go to this one here. This picture was taken, I like to take photographs at events and see if I can get them autographed.
Sure.
This was April 15th, 1985. Number 72 is Carlton Fisk, but I wasn't taking Carlton Fisk. I was getting the fella stooping there, and of course that was Steve Palermo.
Sure is.
Number 14, American League umpire, and I sent this to him. His penmanship was beautiful. I mean, kids can't write their own name now, but this was he was very nice to send it back to me from Oxford.
Yeah.
One of the best umpires. Any thoughts on Steve?
I mean, consistently rated among the best umpires in the American League in almost every metric. Steve was from my hometown, and again, when I grew up, he was kind of someone to look up to. Yeah. His parents lived literally down the street from me, and I had his dad as my elementary school principal.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So Steve was great, and so watched all his games. In fact, in the late 80s and early 90s, I could tell you, for example, who Steve's crew was and who was on that crew. Yeah. Included people like Richie Garcia was his crew chief, and Larry Young were on and Mike Riley were on his crew. So I could tell anytime Steve was working a game. Absolutely wonderful and an inspiration to me and a hero for what he did, as you know, in trying to help a waitress at an event in Texas and got shot and paralyzed. Continued to be, though, the league's director of umpiring for a long time as well. So I wear number 14.
Oh, is that really?
So in the World Series, my number was 14, and I did that because of Steve.
Yeah, he umpired the first game in Toronto, 1977. He was on the crew that did the Blue Jays. Yeah. And then on July 4th, 1983, he was umpiring in Yankee Stadium when Dave Righetti threw the no-hitter against the Boston Red Sox. Yeah. And to your point, he did not know there was a no-hitter. He talks. I've read about him, and he was in the moment. All that mattered to him was the play at that time. Yeah. He might not know the score at the end of the game. Yeah. He might not know this, but he knows that he was in the point at that game. So come the ninth inning, he didn't know there was a no-hitter. And he looked out, and he said, the scoreboard must be wrong. And Butch Weiniger was the catcher for the Yankees. And Butch said, "What's wrong with you? What? The guy's got a no-hitter." And Palermo was not superstitious. They talked about it. But he said, "Oh, my God." So the last batter was Wade Boggs.
Oh, one of the best.
On a 1-2 count, the pitch was a little outside, ball 2. And he's thinking, now he would have, I think, not wanted to know there was a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Now he's thinking, oh, God, am I going to screw up the no-hitter?
Yeah.
And on the next pitch, Boggs swung and missed.
Yeah.
To your point, he had the no-hitter, but he didn't want to screw up the no-hitter.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never want to be a difference maker in one of those things. Boggs was not an easy guy to strike out either. So
That's right. Yeah.
It made a difference there.
But he was in on that, and then I read about he was an umpire in the Bucky Dent game.
Oh, okay.
He was on the field.
Okay.
And his father skipped school that day to go to the game with Steve's mother and father. And on the way, of course, Bucky Dent hits the home run, the Yankees, and we all know that.
Yeah.
And on the way home, all of a sudden, they started to talk about the game. And his father goes, "You should have called that a foul ball." And he goes, "Dad, how? I can't do that." There's your principal saying you should have called it.
Hey,
foul.
you're a Red Sox fan first, you know what I mean?
But
That's
so we are fortunate to have had Steve Palermo.
Yeah. Well, you know, the other thing, Paul, too, is there's another umpire who made it quite a long ways up the chain. His name's Kevin O'Connor, also from Oxford. Kevin was a AAA crew chief before they, after 10 years or so in AAA, he didn't get a chance to break into the majors, and so they released him. But, you know, two very good professional baseball umpires, Steve Palermo and Kevin O'Connor, right from Oxford, Massachusetts.
And again, the progression, we're not going to talk about it, but it's not easy. To get to be a major league umpire.
No, the training is rigorous, and the expectations of how well you do your job, very difficult to get there.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about another umpire that lived here locally, and his name was Bill Summers. Bill Summers lived in Upton, and he was an umpire for 27 years, from 1933 to 1959, and he umpired 8 All-Star games. Nobody has umpired more All-Star games than him. But one of the plays that people remember, but they don't remember him, was September 28th, 1955, first game of the World Series. And you had Whitey Ford pitching. You had Yogi Berra catching. You had Jackie Robinson on third.
This is Yankees Brooklyn?
This is Yankee Brooklyn.
Yep.
And Jackie Robinson decides to steal home.
I see.
And we had Bill Ballou and Matt Votor on the show talking about the play.
Yeah.
And we disagreed on the play. I'm going to show you the play.
Sure.
And the only thing we agreed upon was get an umpire on the show. so we'll put you on the spot here a little bit. So if we can show this play from the 1950, there's Jackie Robinson, Whitey Ford.
With pinch batter Frank Keller at bat.
There we go. The old wind-up. Jackie Robinson comes home, and there we go. Yogi goes out, and in comes Jackie. Is he safe or out? I don't know. Bill Summers, the umpire,
says Yogi doesn't like it.
And the umpire, Bill Summers, he walks away. I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, it's a smart move.
So anyway, if we can back it up, Aiden, just to right in here, the point is, our discussion, we didn't care about safe or out. Is it catcher's interference? Who has the right? Does he have the right to swing and hit Yogi's head into left field? Or does Yogi have the right to get out in front of the plate to put the tag on the runner? And we disagreed. So any thoughts on that play there?
I do have some thoughts, but I don't want to at all undercut Mr. Summers, who's apparently a very good umpire. But in terms of looking at this under replay, which he didn't have the privilege to have, there are two parts of this rule that are going on here. One, you're absolutely right. This is catcher's interference. So the catcher must allow the batter an opportunity to hit the ball.
Right. So if he swung there, he would have hit Yogi's head into left field.
So that becomes a catcher's interference. Now, interestingly enough, there's another rule that happens here as well. The catcher must remain in the catcher's box until the pitcher pitches the ball. So if he's out of the catcher's box prior to the pitcher pitching the ball, right? So if Yogi sees Robinson bearing down on him and
Yeah.
jumps out of the box. We can't see where the pitch is
You
released.
can't see, but he's out of the box there.
If he's out of the box before that
But before
pitch is
the
thrown,
release, release.
that's a balk.
Oh,
So what happens here is, and this is one of those rare occasions, the MLB interpretive manual allows you to have both penalties at the same time. So this would be a double jeopardy penalty on the defense. There would be a balk called on the catcher.
could have been. We don't know.
We don't know where the pitch is, but certainly catches interference. Certainly catches interference.
So that would mean what the batter goes the
batter
first,
get-
and would
the batter
Jackie
gets-
have
correct.
scored to go back to third? Then?
So in this is a really interesting case.
Yeah.
In these circumstances, the offensive team gets to choose, almost like in football, because here
I never heard this.
here catcher's interference
Yeah.
would make the ball dead. The
Right.
batter runner would get first, and Jackie would have to return to third.
He would go back to
He
third.
would go back to third, but because it takes a run off the board,
Right.
the offensive manager can decide: would I rather have first and third with no outs?
Yeah.
Or would I rather have Jackie score and not call the catcher's interference?
So then, I guess it would have been he'd call a ball or a strike.
A ball or a strike,
whatever it was.
whatever it was.
And you'd live with the count.
And you
at
would
that-
live with the count at that point and allow the run to score. So if the catcher's interference was called, ultimately it would be the offensive manager who would get to decide: do I want the penalty of catcher's interference, that is batter runner at first and runner returns to third, or score the run and I'll take the outcome of the pitch? Yeah.
This is a very technical.
I mean, it's one of the rare occasions in our baseball rule book where a manager gets to decline a penalty or take one. Right? Football does that all the time.
I never heard of baseball.
Yeah, catcher's interference. Yeah, that's what probably should have happened here. So ultimately, that's probably how the play should have ended anyway. Jackie scoring and the run in the pitch counting.
Yeah, and for some reason Yogi was so mad about this, and
Yeah.
the Yankees won the game.
Sure.
It happened to win the game.
It's
but-
a tough call for the plate umpire because he's got to try to get to an angle to see the front edge of that plate, right? Because here comes Jackie's foot's going to come into the front edge of that plate, and now Yogi's going to try to tag him out at the corner of
Yeah,
that
and
plate.
you can see the batter. He looks like he's ready to to swing at this point in time.
Yeah, he's got to be, right? Which is why it's catcher's interference.
Yeah.
But again, catcher's interference is what's called a delayed dead ball. So what would have happened here is the umpire would have said
The
that's
delayed dead
dead ball.
Wow, I'm
Yeah.
learning a
Yeah.
lot this morning.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's very. Now they got Bill Summers there, and another thing I read is Steve Palermo was one of the first umpires never to wear for his
balloon?
whole career the balloon.
Yeah.
Did you ever wear a balloon? Or
I never did.
You never
no,
did. Yeah.
No, but there aren't many people left who do it. It was great for protection, but not great for just being able to move.
Yeah.
And just moving around.
Yeah, that's Bill Summers, and his brother, Charlie Summers, ran a funeral parlor here in Westboro. But when my kids were growing up, my boys, Charlie Summers, his brother, would umpire Little League games. And I'll never forget one game, Charlie Summers was wearing a balloon thing like that. And there was a fan in the third base stands really giving it to him. And Charlie was a good-sized guy. Charlie came over and said, you got a choice. You either shut up, you come down here and umpire, or you're out of here.
Yeah.
And the guy shut up.
Yeah.
You ever have any problems with
Yeah,
parents or
unfortunately.
fans or-
Unfortunately, it's far too common, I think,
Really?
where fans are, sports officials are under a lot of pressure right now. And I think we could do a better job generally as a society dealing with, not getting too crazy on our officials. And I think in some ways that's why there's such a shortage of people who want to do it because of that. And I've had my fair share, unfortunately, of bad fan interactions or coaches' interactions. They're still in the minority, right? I don't have a whole lot of them, but the ones that happen are unfortunate and shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think what we're starting to see is the sports community starting to rally around really having a zero tolerance for that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're doing the best you can. I mean,
Right, and just like players and just like coaches, mistakes are made, none of them intentional. So when the shortstop blows a ground ball, or when the coach sends a runner and shouldn't have, or those are all mistakes. It's a game played by humans. It's a game officiated by humans. To me, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And so that humanity sometimes causes mistakes to happen, and we all have to persevere and get over it.
Just a couple of questions here. I'm a little bit older and things change. Little League Baseball. If it goes extra innings, do they put the guy in second base?
We do now.
You do?
We do now. That's a relatively new change. A couple years ago, they start with the runner at second base, the player who made the last out in the previous inning.
So they do that in Little League?
Yeah.
Okay, the other was way back when I was a kid, pitches. They went by innings.
Yeah.
Now they go by, I believe it's pitches.
That's right.
Whose responsibility is it to count pitches?
So it depends on the game that you're at. In a regular season game, there's usually a coach who has a little pitch count that he's keeping during the game. Down at the World Series, there's one individual who's assigned to just do the pitch counts.
There's another official off.
An official scorer position that's responsible for keeping the pitch count. And as you know, Paul, that's all about trying to just not overuse kids' arms.
Oh God, yeah. Because it used to be, kids, they throw, but then the kids our age, they say if you're throwing a curve, it's going to hurt your arm. I don't know if that's true or false, but
I don't either. But they had a problem that they used to call Little League elbow, and that wasn't good, right? I mean, if you have a whole like orthopedic, challenge associated with it, they really started to focus on trying to keep the pitch counts down.
Okay, I want to get to your style. I haven't seen it, but back when we used to have Emmett Ashford, the first black umpire, and he was very theatrical calling a strike. And then you watch, I forget who the umpire is, but the pitch will come in, and it seems like an hour later, he'll call a strike, And some go this, some go that. What's your do you ever watch any of the umpires? Do you have your own style? When you grew up, was it, I'm going to act like Steve Palermo?
Sure, yeah.
How do we
So
do
Steve was a puncher. He punched strikes. He would punch them like that. Yeah. I did develop a little bit of my own style. I was mostly a pointing umpire for strike.
Yeah.
So when the pitch came in, Little League actually wants us to hammer strikes, and that is this motion right where the hammer comes out in front. Yeah. And the thought process there, Paul, is that they want to keep your eyes towards the field, right? So I point strikes like this, I'm going to move my eyes away from the field.
Well, there are umpires that do.
Yeah.
In Major League, I see.
Yeah. So you got to be real careful, especially in Little League, because you never know what the kids are going to do, and you got to keep your eyes on the field at all times. So by keeping my punch strike out front, I get a chance to keep my eyes towards the field of play. So I've moved to a more hammer strike now. You bring up another interesting point about the delay that sometimes occurs, right?
Yeah.
That's actually purposeful in the sense that umpires are taught to allow the pitch to come all the way through and either into the zone or not. And what I like to try to tell people all the time is, if you were a good batter, if you were a good hitter, you had to decide quite early on in the pitch whether or not you were going to swing, right?
And you don't have much time.
You don't have much time, especially when it's coming in at 107 miles an hour. So I had to decide, was that a ball or a strike, almost way out there, right? As an umpire, that's the opposite thing that I want to do. I can't decide, right, that it's a ball or a strike when it's still only 30 or 40 feet from the plate. So I have to retrain my brain to let that pitch come all the way through the zone. So part of that training is to try to delay the response to really decide, was that a ball or a strike?
Well, especially Major League pitchers. I mean, that ball will
It'll move 6-8 inches in a very short period of time. So you can't decide, that's going to be a strike, right, when it's 10 feet from the plate.
Yeah. Now the strike zone, it used to be letters and armpits. Where's the strike zone now?
The Little League strike zone is defined in Rule 2, and it talks about it being at the armpits to the top of the knees, and then the space over the 17-inch plate.
Right.
So that's technically the Little League strike zone.
Okay, now how about your safe call? You going to give me your safe call?
Sure, safe call. Safe. Yep, direct. And it's funny you mentioned this though, because umpires spend a lot of time perfecting the craft.
Oh, real? Yeah.
Yeah. So we spend time. In fact, in a couple of weeks, I'll be going down to Williamsport to help instruct in their academy. So there's a week-long academy going on down there, and I'll be one of the instructors.
Oh, really?
There.
They have that? Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming
How
up
often do they have those?
Twice a year.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. We have 40 umpires coming from around the country to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, to participate in an umpire academy.
And these probably are fellows that have not umpired in the series. They're coming.
That's right.
They hope to get there.
Hope to get there, right? And we will teach them how to call safes and outs and strikes and and where to position and all that. We, just like players do, we spend a lot of time perfecting our craft.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot, especially the rules. I mean, you've got to be like this play here. Boom.
Got to be ready.
You don't pull the rule book out of your back pocket and check it out.
No, you got to see that right away. In fact, a couple of years ago in 2024, when I was at the series, I had a call at second base. I had 2 calls at second base in that play. One was an obstruction of a runner, and another one was an interference by a runner. And so when those things happen, you have to be ready to call them right away and then know what to do. That requires a certain knowledge of the rule book that is pretty deep.
Well, I was proud of myself the other week there when Seattle was playing Toronto.
Yeah.
And the guy went down to second base. He turned around.
Hit him in the head.
I said automatically, interference. And my wife said, what? I said, it's interference.
Good for you.
I got that one right. I got that one right.
That's right. And that's called retired teammate interference. So since he's already been retired, then he interferes. The batter runner is also out.
Yeah, and they got it right. I got it right. I felt so good on that one.
There you go.
But
maybe we get you out in the field. We need them. We need umpires.
Well, it happens so quickly. You do your best you can. But in that case, they had 6 umpires. 6 umpires.
That's right.
Huddle.
Yeah.
But I guess that doesn't go to New York or wherever they go. That is up to the umpires too.
Yeah.
So when you did it in Little League, could you huddle, or when did you decide to huddle, or nope, it goes up to replay somewhere?
So we can huddle and get together, and we typically do that on plays that are not reviewable. As you know, not all plays can go to replay.
Right, yeah.
So things like interference and obstruction are not reviewable by replay rules.
This is subjective.
So that means,
judgment.
I can't take it to replay. So because of that, I'm going to get together and get my crew together and see if they saw anything. Right. So what happened in this Major League Baseball play is that the second base umpire either didn't see it or was paying attention to something else and didn't understand or see that it hit the runner. And I think thankfully his other members of his crew got together and said, yeah, we have retired runner interference here, and we need to kill the ball and make the batter runner out.
Well, I could see it from Westboro.
We got to put you on the crew.
Well, I think we're safe here. Well, Rick, I want to thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Talking about Little League Baseball and umpires in general, this has certainly been educational.
It was a pleasure to be here, Paul. Always love to talk about it.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
This is Paul McGrath saying, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you at the game. And if you're not in the game, I hope to see you on the sidelines.